I'll just move up.
See your pockets looking lonely. Ashes, ashes.
Okay, baby better hype me up. Baby better hype me up. Baby better hype me up. Okay, ooh. Okay, baby better hype me up. Yeah, baby better hype me up. Baby better hype me up.
Good morning, Kripple Krew. How is everybody doing this morning? I see Fook Doozle, member Kripple Krew Inc., Rolf Robertson, Stuff We Do from South Africa. Thanks for joining us. Brian White, Barbie Chambers, EDC girl. We got a member Kripple Krew Inc., Marco, Robert Willoughby. We got Just in Time, member Kripple Krew Inc., Kelly White, Brian White, yo. And William Hornbostel, member Kripple Krew Inc. None for now. Good morning. Gareth, of course. What's up, brother? Eagle Scout EDC, member Kripple Krew Inc. Ginger Fisher, member Kripple Krew Inc. Good morning. Marco, Ron Pro, member Kripple Krew Inc. And Gonzo, member Kripple Krew Inc. Good morning, everybody. Say hello to Aldo from Pickled Steel and Johan Jordaan, designer of the Pickled Steel War Hog, Artisan Cleo, and of course, South African Custom Knifemaker. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Hey, DVD.
Long-winded salute there, but I'm really happy to have you guys joining me today.
Thank you so much. I think it's a great honor to be here, and I think it's time that the world get to see the face and hear from the man behind these absolutely awesome designs, and in my humble opinion, I think will be one of the most renowned designers in a very short period of time.
Oh, thank you for that. Not sure if people want to see the face, but maybe the knives.
Bluetooth Blades, good morning, member Kripple Krew Inc. Bless Knives, what's up? War Room EDC, and original member Kripple Krew Inc. Kurt White, good morning. Yes, I have to agree that I believe we are going to be hearing a lot more of that name and seeing the double J logo a lot more. So, Johan, do you mind telling us how you got into knife designing?
I think it's more of an accident than anything else that I got into the designing. Always been a big knife nut, growing up, drawing knives and everything, and always wanted to be able to make knives, but just I live in Port Elizabeth and I didn't think there were knife makers around me. Much to my surprise, there's actually world-renowned ones around me. So I actually work at the university in the media and communication department 3 days a week. So do video camera work, maintain the camera equipment, the editing suites and so forth. And I've got a big friend, Mark Fish, that just contacted me one day and said, listen, one of the knife makers wants a little video made and stuff. And said, sure thing. Went to the guy's house, met Thijs Mead. Probably most people know him by now. Top 10 knife maker in the world, if you ask me, in terms of folders, fit and finish, custom stuff, and filmed there. And I just basically never left. I just kept going back the next day with the intention of filming, but then picking up what I was doing and just started making knives from there. Worked for him a bit, and then what happened? He got a CNC machine. He ordered one in. We had to put it together and stuff, and I just working in fusion and drawing knives, it was like a dream for me. I mean, it was like I still consider it like Lego for grown-ups or knife nuts, where I could dream up anything, draw it, and it suddenly happens. And then I was drawing knives up for fun. I still do it for fun, essentially. It was never a plan of, and I think it was Kaiser that someone showed me on social media. There was a XU competition, and I thought I'll give it a bash. Didn't win it, haven't won any of them. Always made the finals, but never won. And then, and it was just so much fun, just kept going back and forth. And then Aldo ran a competition. I think it was a Father's Day competition, if I remember correctly, or something. And we all know him, in SA. So I said, well, I'll give it a bash. And he was supposed to send one, and obviously I sent more designs. And I said, but listen, here is this one design. I didn't win the Kaiser competition with it. And he was immediately like, that's the one he wants. And then it just happened. From there, it gave me confidence, and I just started, well, like Kaiser with Taste Meats, I just never stopped. Even if it wasn't a competition, I just sent in designs. And then I think Artisan had a competition after that, and that's the one I won with the Cleo. And from there on, I just didn't stop. I still approach companies and just send designs, say, listen, here it is, if you want to perhaps work together. And I think I've got up to 22 contracts now or something. So there is quite a few knives dropping, and yeah, it accidentally happened, I suppose. But I still love it.
That's awesome. So 22 contracts. That is quite a few coming out.
Yeah, I signed a contract. We're not allowed to say anymore. The new contracts have changed quite a lot. There's non-disclaimers now and stuff suddenly in.
Sure.
But I can tell you there's 11 with Kaiser, for instance, Artisan a few, QB a few, Concept Tenable a few, and yeah, always looking for more. But I'm also not trying to spread it out too much so far. Just concentrate, work with the people I've built up a relationship, hoping to work with Aldo a bit more. Publicly encouraging him to say yes now.
Oh hell yes! Oh hell yes!
It's gone good, and yeah, I know, for instance, the Kaiser Quaken just came out now in March, and on the 1st of April there's another knife launching. I'm not going to say from who, and there should be in the next month or two then 3 or 4 dropping from various people as well. So yeah, the logo should be seen by more people fairly soon.
That is awesome. Wes Gibson, member Kripple Krew Inc., good morning. Gnarly Charlie, member Kripple Krew Inc., good morning. None for now, what's going on? Caleb 1776, member Kripple Krew Inc., what's up? So the War Hog was the first to drop.
Yes, that was the first one to drop. It was the first accepted design that someone said, yes, I want it. Let's do it and let's go with it. And so that will be the first job.
Yeah, that is awesome. We, the Kripple Krew here, there's quite a few people who think that Kaiser messed up and who enjoy this knife more than the sheepdog, by the way. I'm not talking Kaiser, because Kaiser makes awesome knives and I like their knives. But there are quite a few people who think that the War Hog is a better knife than the sheepdog, and who cannot wait for the 14C and M390 versions. Not only that, but everybody's already salivating over the war dog, the war horse. Like the Kripple Krew is all about the war series. I'll put it that way.
Thank you. That's fantastic to hear. Yeah, I wouldn't say Kaiser made a mistake. You know, the one thing I realized is that all these companies have different people in their R&D departments and stuff, and they've got a certain style. So I've often seen designs, and one company or two companies would say no, but the third one loves it. You know, so I think it's just what suits in their range currently for them. But yeah, I made. Let's get there.
I think they made a huge mistake, and I'll be ever grateful for that. I actually went back onto that competition, and Johan sent me the design on 13 June 2023. He sent me the design. I've actually got the original chat and the original design sketch, and on the 24th of June, the name War Hog was born.
That is awesome.
So that's when it's we're heading on almost 2 years. And the interesting thing about, I guess, the world today with technology is I've never met Johan in person in my life.
Yeah.
We've spoken so many times and things like that, but I've never shaken his hand in my life. And I guess it just shows that the world is now open to a lot of these things, and I think Johan has shown that how someone that used to love making knives all of a sudden are getting into a whole new field. And I mean, I could see when we launched the War Hog, all of a sudden all these big companies started following me, and then obviously they started contacting Johan, etc., etc. But Johannes also got one of these. So maybe I'll just start by showing a couple of people what I think a lot of people might want in their collection. But there was only 2 made, and I've got one and Johan got one. This is the original War Hog prototype in 14C28. And then obviously we moved over to D2. But this is the original. This is the first that was ever made, and Johannes got the second that was ever made.
That is awesome.
And we ultimately decided to change the brown for the black, so we went with the green and the black, and yeah, I guess the rest is history. So Johan, you obviously know I've shared the premium models. I've shared the War Horse things that we're working on, and I think there's some extreme excitement around that. I see there's a lot of questions.
I do see that Stuff We Do was saying that he has a one-off goblin of Johan's.
Yeah, I think he won it in a giveaway. I'm weird. I wouldn't say I get bored of stuff quickly, but so I've got so many models, and sometimes I can't remember because I would just sometimes cut out steel and see where it takes me, kind of thing. Not plan. My design is still that way. I don't sit down and say, oh, I'm going to design a harpoon blade with such blade or whatever. It's just the mood strikes me. It takes me somewhere. So the Goblin was one of those. I think I only done like 5 or so. What actually happened, I went to Polar to buy some steel, and they didn't have the thickness I wanted, but it was like a 2.5 mil blade bar stock lying there. So I said, I'll buy it. It's Friday, I'm bored. And my rule on the workshop on Fridays, when it hits 12 o'clock, you crack open a beer and you do fun stuff in the workshop. You play around. It's not orders or anything. It's just what you want to do as a knife maker. Like, it helps keep me fresh, excited. And the Goblin came from there, and I think there's only 5, and I'm not even sure if I have a template of it anymore. It's just a willy-nilly thing, and people loved it.
That's awesome. Datus Outlaw, hello. As Aries EDC, what is up? Good morning. Wyoming Adventures, member Kripple Krew, good morning. Rolf Robertson asks, where are you from, Johan?
I'm in South Africa, a town called Port. That's a city, but I say it's a town. It's a weird little place, actually. It was called Port Elizabeth. We're supposed to say Quebec now or something like that. I struggle with that still, so I still call it Port Elizabeth, but it's right at the bottom of South Africa, almost in the middle if you look at the map at the coast. So, yeah, small little city town, not a lot of, all the fancy stuff, but yeah, sitting here and still loving it, actually. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, I must say to also just hi to everyone that's on the stream. Sorry if I haven't greeted individually. I see a lot of people have greeted as well. So hi everyone. Nice to chat to you again. I think the one thing that I can say is Johan's custom build work that he did is also pretty amazing. I mean, he obviously doesn't do a lot of that anymore, but there's a lot of people that is dying to get more of his own custom stuff, and I think that knowing how to do the actual work, I think makes the designing, I think, a lot easier as well. And I think Johan is very kind. He shares a lot of designs with me, and this one's going to that company and this one's going to that company, and obviously there's a good trust relationship. But I mean, the type of stuff that I know that obviously we can't talk about too much, that is coming out is phenomenal. He was so proud of the Cleo when it came out and it launched at Blade, I think last year.
Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, he sent me all the pictures of of all the different models, and these are the ones that are coming, and this is what he's done, and it was so amazing. And then I think Scott from Aries was I still watched his unboxing of the Cleo, and he was saying it looks familiar from, and then when he saw the logo, it's like you put two and two together and see it's the same designer. But there's some absolutely awesome stuff coming out, and again, I think if you ever get the opportunity to get yourself or your hands on a Johan Jordaan design, go for it. I mean, you've seen the particularity of what he did, if that's even a word, on the War Hog. And again, I went through some of our chats, Johan, that we had, and I'll never forget the one. I think I mentioned it in the story the other day, where you were counting the jumping lines, and it wasn't acceptable for you. You wanted the jumping chains because the jumping lines, there were too many or too little, and you only wanted 2 here, and they had to be so much spaced in between.
It's a weird position for me. It didn't run through. So I looked at small little things. I mean, that's also where I didn't stop making custom knives, but it's a lot slower because I've got very rudimentary machine here. I've got a grinder and a drill press. Further on, it's all by hand, like 100%. And I've got a bit of a, I wouldn't say it's OCD, but I've got a perfection thing about knives. You know, if one handle isn't exactly the same as the other, or that screw isn't matching up, or I ground something and the one side doesn't look nice, I'll throw it away in a bin. It irritates me. I can't sell a knife like that. I can't send it out like that. There's something about it that drives me nuts. And yeah, that's why even on the designs, I'll always look at the pictures they send, the renders I send back, and I'll say, but what about this? Did you check this? Because it's just how I am with knives. When I buying knives myself, I look at the little stuff if it's done correctly. So I think that's forced me also to look at, is the little stuff done correctly?
That's awesome. Nick Martino, good morning. How are you? By the way, folks, if I have missed saying good morning when you're coming in, I apologize. That's just because we are chatting, and I'm not ignoring you. I just want to say blanket good morning. Hello, MTG EDC, member Kripple Krew Inc. I do want to say right quick, folks, we got stuff we do also in the live stream. If you would like to pick up a Stuff We Do edition Freya, they are available from the Pickled Steel website. No more chocolate. However, there are some other colors on the way, but you can still get a Stuff We Do Freya, and these are less than $30, folks. Killer knives.
So
and Stuff We Do had a question for you guys. You know, our president put out the offer. And so Stuff We Do asks both of you, are you going to come farm in America?
You know what? I think Johan might love to. If I go to America, I think all the other knife companies are gonna suffer. So I'd rather me stay here and just be on the sideline from this side. I think that's safer for me. I do think a lot of the companies soon are going to start putting hits out, but there is with Kelly, as a matter of interest, I believe Kelly can just confirm. I believe there is a brown left by her and a couple of the red ones. And for those that didn't know, we will be bringing out a neon green, almost like a zombie green one. And then a hunter's orange will be coming out in the SWD as well. So I think that's going to be amazing.
Very cool. Mrs. Deadly, good morning. Good to see you, sexy. Love you. Byron, Splitting Slices. What's up, member Kripple Krew Inc., as is Mrs. Deadly, of course. Caleb 1776, member for 1 month. I appreciate the support. We will give a salute with a Cleo right here. And he says that he hopes Aldo and Jordaan are well.
We are definitely.
Johan?
Thank you very much.
I've got a Brandon coat here, so I'm doing very well, thank you.
I wanna ask a question to Johan, if you guys don't mind. So I mean,
go for it.
The Cleo, I know when we originally spoke, we spoke about the War series, and there were 5 models that we looked at. I've still got the original
Yes,
images.
I remember.
And the Cleo almost has the similar kind of lines to that smaller one that we were looking at. What was the inspiration behind the Cleo, if I may ask?
Look, I'm going to be honest, and I don't think a lot of designers will actually say this and stuff, but there's nothing like an original design anymore. I mean, if I ask someone to draw a knife and they've never seen a knife in their life, they won't be able to draw it. Show them one knife and ask them to draw that knife, they'll draw the knife that they've seen. So my inspiration goes a lot, but I'll be honest, the CRKT Pilar for me was a fantastic design. It had a few issues. The blade stock, according to me, was way too thick. It wasn't a nice cutter and stuff. I'm still a massive fan of Jesper Voxnes. His design style is beautiful to me. So it was there, but I was looking for something small, 5th pocket. Actually, it's designed for my wife in that regard. Her name is also Cleo. That's why it's called that. But she does a lot of like extreme long distance hiking with her mom, 5 days, sleep in a bush, carry your own food kind of stuff. So if they carry a knife, which they often need to open parcels and stuff, I don't want something big. It must be lightweight, small, with a blade steel that will keep its edge. And that's where the Cleo came from. It was just one day drawing again. The only thing I knew is I didn't want to go past 2.5 inches on the blade. So only thing I knew, and I know I wanted the tip low on the knife. There wasn't anything else, and I just played, and yeah, that's what happened. Like I said, I don't feel there's inspiration behind my designs. It's often I just draw something and I'll immediately know yes or no. And if it's a no, I delete it. Yes, I keep it around, and I'll go back sometimes and look at it again and again. And that one I always felt when I drew it was like, yes, this is something I would carry myself as well in the 5th pocket.
It is an awesome 5th pocket knife. I had seen Ron Dobbins, member Kripple Krew. Good morning, brother. I had seen a couple of reviews of it that spoke very, very highly of it. And I was signed up to get it in the pass around group that I am a part of, and hadn't even really put together. I hadn't seen Scott's video on it yet. And during one of my live streams, Mr. Eddie was like, hey, you know that Cleo is the same designer as the War Hog. And so I was really excited to get it in then, because I love the way the War Hog feels in my hand. It just fits my hand very well in any grip. And so I was very excited to get the Cleo in hand. I do love carrying a 5th pocket knife as part, on top of my other carries. And this, for me, a 5th pocket knife has to be a little big knife. It has to be something that I can choke up on and get a full 4-finger grip, so that I then feel comfortable using it. And oftentimes I'd rather use the smaller blade with the full 4-finger grip and the control I have than pull out my bigger blades. So, I'm pretty particular about what I like to carry in my 5th pocket. I love a sheep's foot or a Warney for, something small like this is perfect utility cutter. And when I got this one in hand, it fits my hand so well. And I like I said, I had to reach out and let him know this one wouldn't eventually be making its way back to him.
No, I appreciate that a lot. I have to say the feedback I've been getting from I interact with a lot of the guys and stuff, and just say thank you for your YouTube video and so forth. And it's all been very positive on the stuff that's out. The Cleo is now out in a copper version, I believe. I'm still waiting for mine due to our wonderful postal service in South Africa. It can take a while sometimes for stuff to arrive. And I believe they want to do a budget version as well. The prototypes originally had budget versions, and then there was a different one. I'll actually show it to you. This was the original idea for the premium one. So it had
I'm going to give you the full screen real quick.
it was as a carbon fiber inlay. I still love carbon fiber, titanium, a normal carbon fiber. You know, I enjoy the new camo carbon stuff, but I feel it's and all the colors you get, but it's like it passes. It dates. Classic carbon fiber will never date. It's just what it is. And then what happened is they actually sent this one, which looks like the Cleo, but this is a budget version. It's a stainless steel scales with 9 CR, or what this is, ARP 9 steel they had on it. And I just love the texture on it. So I asked, listen, can we do the premium with the texture? And then we'll work about the others later on. So yeah, there will be others coming. I believe the budget will be a stainless steel scales with G10 inlays. And there you might see a carbon fiber inlay version down the line as well. Obviously premium on that one.
That's awesome. I'm going to post Johan's Instagram real quick.
Oh, thank you so much.
I will link that. Let me pop into the control room and pin that at the top of the chat. I was asked about that. And folks, you can see the designs that he's working on there. I'll share the screen in a little bit so we can take a look at it. But here, his Instagram is now pinned for everybody to see. And Stuff We Do says that you're a genius at making what people like. You sure whatever you make, people will love.
Any more lucky?
I don't think so. So, I mean, yeah, it's just a quick update. While we were talking, Chris scooped up the last brown Freya from the website very quickly. I just saw the thing coming through. So,
Good snatch. Good grab, because the chocolate Freya is awesome.
Yeah, he quickly snapped it up. No, look, I mean, the Freya as well. I think the inspiration behind that from Stuff We Do. And again, just that's I guess, the cool thing. And when you guys have the opportunity, Gareth HP is busy reviewing a lot of the RSA customs that is coming to the US, as well as the prototypes. And I think when you see some of the designs and stuff, there's a lot of involvement from a lot of people in it. I'll share with you just now. Kelly's going to vomit if I show it again, but just my custom that was made by Jonathan Jacobs, the designer of the Typhon, that we're also considering maybe in future to do as well. But it's just, there's so much, and I think you can hear it from Johan as well. What I've realized is there's so much of the person going into the design. People pick up a knife and, oh, it's this design, and they don't really think what has gone into the process of that. I mean, I experienced it firsthand with Johan and with Miguel and some of the other guys when it's the back and fro, and we need to change this. And actually, I had a look around the original prototype and the one that finally got produced. If you look at the two, they look very similar. But when you start looking at the detail, you can see the differences that makes it, I believe, such an absolutely awesome knife. And people that said, oh, it's beefy and they'll never carry such a thick blade, yeah, now they own two. So it's a very interesting thing. But I must say, and all compliments to Johan and Artisan Cutlery, I believe the War Hog and the Cleo is such an awesome combo. I think the combo to carry, it is just amazing. I think it is actually beautiful combo to carry. So good luck to them.
Yeah, that's what was in my pocket up until we started the stream. Was this was my fifth pocket and this was my right front pocket. They do make a great carry combo, and you can either bust out the Cleo for some small, really nice controlled cuts, or you can bust out the War Hog and go to work.
Yeah,
if you really want to, yes. I mean, that was the idea. I try to vary what's coming out as well in blade lengths, blade stock thickness and stuff, but I always knew the War Hog had to be a beefy thing. When I got really into knives, and you buy your first real knife, it was a zero tolerance knife. I think it was the ZT300. And I was just totally amazed by this thing. it's this workhorse kind of thing. You don't have to be scared to use it kind of thing. I mean, used to cheapies, and then you get into the, where I'd say, real knife category. It's no longer gas station knives and stuff. And I just knew my first one had to be a bit beefier, you know, that you can feel like you can run this thing over your truck if you want to, and it will still function.
Yeah, that's awesome. Caleb1776 said it's his absolute favorite knife to work with and to do any type of real work. He said that he wished he reviewed his before he beat it up a bit, but I think you should review it beat up, you know, to show it. And I'm sure it's looking awesome right now. What were you going to say, Aldo?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the War Hog as well, and again, I went back to a lot of the conversations we had like a year and a half ago. One of the things was the pocket clip. And originally, the whole idea was to make it a much thinner pocket clip. Sorry, where am I there? A much thinner pocket clip, not this little wide edge. And ultimately, when we spoke to the design team that ultimately put it together at the manufacturer and at Remet, they came with a little bit of a wider, and I think Johan then agreed to make it a little bit more wider as well. And I must say, I guess that's one of the best almost features of any clip I've ever had. I think that was one of the wisest decisions that we ever made, to go a little bit wider on that.
Yes, it was
I
almost like
haven't used a wire clip like this before. It feels so much stronger. What were you going to say, Johan?
like a happy accident, you know. I wanted a straight wire clip. I love wire clips. I know it's not everyone's favorites, but I just love them. They work for me personally. So not a lot of companies want to do them. And when I saw the first pictures, I was like, Aldo, they did the clip wrong. And he said, no, it's fine. They said it's something. It's just, you know, if I put this clip on, will work the other one. But when I got it in hand, I was like, hell no, this is a strong wire clip, because wire clips can bend and decide. So I understand why people also don't like them. But that was the first wire clip I felt was like, damn, this is a strong, proper wire clip. You're not going to worry about damaging the actual wire clip. So I immediately said, that's the one. Let's go with it.
Yeah, it worked out. It's a fantastic clip. B Shady was asking if there's any titanium coming, because he loves titanium, and Kelly White let him know about the titanium War Hog on the way. He asked if he could prepay. We are really stoked about the aluminum N14C and the titanium and M390. I cannot wait to see them.
Yeah, I think they're going to be awesome.
Very nice. I'm excited about the 14C 28-pin one. I love a good budget steel. I feel like most people don't really get what they buy the fanciest steel they can, but they can't sharpen it properly, or they don't use their knife as much. And I think for the money, 14C 28-in is fantastic. It just takes a wicked edge, like in really, it can go very sharp. You can ask my fingers. And then I'm excited about it. I love a budget knife. There is a lot of more premium stuff coming out, but my heart is still budget. I want a tool, not a toy kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm very excited for 14C one, actually.
Yay.
Derek? What does Derek say? He broke? Oh, he broke out the War Hog a couple of days. Oh, okay.
Just took it down with the War Hog. Yeah. So that he was using it to whittle some wood.
Getting up a War Hog and War Dog. Oh, little. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I can't wait to get a War Dog in hand, man. What's our timeline looking like on the War Dog and the War Horse? I know what we've seen is still to be determined.
Okay, so
all right. So I think break the news on the dog, Johan, if you don't mind. I haven't shared.
Apologize to everyone that's seen the War Dog. I don't know how, but it often happens when I send out designs. I send like 4 or 5. It's like throwing spaghetti at a wall, and you hope for one that sticks. And somehow I managed to send this War Dog out. I didn't even know. My wife signs all the contracts for me. She's a lawyer and stuff, so she reads all the fine print. I was just like, I'll put your name down, and somehow something got signed. So that design, unfortunately, is coming out with a different company. I apologize to Aldo. I still feel terrible about it. What actually happened, I didn't even know it was coming out, and then they sent me the proto, and I'm like, where did you get this knife, this design from? And I went and looked quickly, and I'm like, oh damn, there's a contract signed for it. So yeah, I owe Aldo definitely 2 more designs for that mistake. But the war horse is definitely coming, and I'm actually very excited about that knife. That's for me a personal preference knife kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, now wherever it comes, is it keeping? Can we at least ask? Is it keeping the War Dog name, or are we going?
No,
it's not going to be that anymore because it's not part of the war.
The war series, when I started chatting working with Aldo, I promised him the war series will be his. So
good. Okay, I like that. I didn't want to say that it shouldn't keep the name, but I like that. I still want the knife, whatever it's named, and I doubt you can tell us right now what the name is.
No.
But can we get an idea of when it's coming out?
I personally don't know myself yet. The companies, they send you estimates of timelines and stuff, but designs can take a year plus before you even see a proto actually in your hand. So I don't know when it's coming out. It was done as a bit of a surprise for me. I think I got it late December or when, I can't remember. There's a batch of knives that came in. Oh, it was the Quaken, the Kaiser Quaken that launched now. They sent me my production versions, and they said, yeah, they're sending a few other protos, or there was supposed to be one other prototype and some other knives that's also coming soon. And then I opened the parcel and it was in the but I've got no idea when it's coming, what the schedule is looking like. It should be actually still a while because there's a few before that one of this particular company. So I wouldn't expect it, I say Q4 of this year or so.
And then another question that I'm going to ask is, are we expecting that to be budget or premium?
It's definitely budget based. The current one. There might be others, but I expect it as a budget because that for me is what I like. And most of the companies will, if a knife does well, will do a premium in any way.
Sure.
Or if you launch a premium, they'll do a budget and so forth. But like I said, yeah, that one is the spec I've got. Hasn't been. I don't think the final spec has been totally determined, but it is budget at the moment. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And wherever it is, we will absolutely still support it. But Gareth asks, does that mean we're still going to get a Pickled Steel War Dog at some point, just a different design? Because the name, everybody loves the name.
Definitely, we'll work on something. I am working. I send Aldo regularly stuff that I'm working on, just to say, listen, that's what's happening. What do you think? To get input, because I like input. I've got a few people I trust, which I send designs to, and just say, what do you think about this? And people will straight up tell me, I like that, or no, it's total garbage. And I like that people are honest in that way, because I'm asking you for honest opinion. I need help. So yeah, very definitely. Look, there is a few wars. Like I say, if there's war of an animal in it, it will be Aldo's. I know there's the war horse, and then we can definitely use the war dog, and yeah, whatever else pops up. There'll be some more.
I've seen War Hippo, War Hawk, War Dragon, all in the chat.
So there's obviously the war horse I've shared. That one is definitely one that we're going to be working on. The premium versions of the war hog itself. But when I went through the designs, there's actually a couple that Johan sent right in the beginning to me, which I think we might actually go and revisit a little bit. But the whole idea is to have a whole series of war from Johan. And obviously we can go out in a lot of stuff. I know that there's there's some very interesting, and Johan, I'll leave it up to you if you want to expand, but I won't go into detail. But there's a lot of very interesting technology changes in some of the features of a knife that he's been working on, which he shared with me, and I'm not going to talk anything about it unless he wants to, but there's a lot of advances coming in a lot of the designs, not just with the shapes and stuff, but actually in a lot of other mechanisms in the knife as well.
I won't go into it too much. I'll just say I am trying to develop a new lock. It will feature almost like a double liner lock, where it comes in from both sides, so both liners will fold in to lock your blade to stop torsional loads on it, and then it will disengage with a slider. But I'm not going to go too much into it. I am playing with it in Fusion, and then I'll have to make a few rough samples in the workshop just to see if the concept actually works. For instance, I thought today again, but how will the lock face look? Because usually a lock face is a bit of an angle and so forth. So there is little kinks to work out, but I'm looking at doing a lock that will be that I've done that hasn't been seen by the market yet.
And
That would be
in
very
one of the
cool.
Pickled steel knives.
Yes, I said to Aldo, we can do that on his knives then.
That's awesome. Very cool. Folk Doozle, what's up? Delaney, Yo-Yo, Neil Mudd, what's going on? Jim Cox says smaller versions, War Kitten, War Puppy.
There was one I sent to Aldo that was called the War Hamster or something as well. It was a real tiny thing. It had 2-inch blade and stuff, so it was just a fun stuff. But yeah, we'll play with the animal names, and the one that has the best ring to it, I suppose, gets chosen.
Yep.
Very cool.
So if I may ask you, are you comfortable to maybe show some of that the new knives that's come out from Kaiser that you've got with you?
I've got the Kaiser Quaken here I can show, the fixed blade. I've got a few other fixed blades as well. First thing, I personally love the Japanese style of knife. Big fan of Tantos, Wakazashis, that kind of stuff. And so I wanted something slim that I carry it. You can see on the clip, I carry it this way on the back tucked in behind me. So I'll put it with my left hand because I am a lefty actually, even though I design more right-hand orientated. So this is the fixed blade. There's quite a few variants. There's a micarta one. I think they're all packed away because I had to pack the stuff behind me away here, so I don't get into NDA stuff. I was wrapped over the knuckles by Kaiser because I did show a knife and they didn't say I couldn't show. So I started showing one knife and got a few furious emails. Please stop that kind of stuff. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't know. So yeah, the Quaken is out. There's a few versions. There's a micarta version, that's red micarta with a D2 steel, which I actually love because they made it. It was a PVD cover coating they gave it, but it's got a rougher texture. So because the Quaken is, it's a very slim, straight thing. I'm always concerned about your hand sliding forward should it get wet and you cut yourself like that. So obviously jumping is there, and I did the straight line texture that actually stops your hand doing it from. So you'll see all of them's got that. But that one's got the PVD coating, which is also like a rough textured PVD. I think the orange D10 one has got a smooth PVD, but the red micarta one is a favorite for me because just that bit of coating gives you extra traction as well. Look, I like to use my knives. I hunt, I fish, shoot pistols competitively and stuff. So my knives, they see rough times sometimes. It's hard. I beat them like a redheaded stepchild, but yeah, so they are out, and that was launched now, and it seems to be I'm getting good feedback on that one as well. I know fixed blades aren't for everyone. Most of my designs aren't fixed blades. I think there's 2 or 3 designed out of them that's fixed blades. But that's out now. I can tell that the next one coming, same company, but a folder. So yeah, there'll be a few stuff coming, but yeah, that's what I've got. I wish I could show. I'm burning. I've got a suitcase here next to me full of prototypes and various stuff. I'm going to pull it out. And then this contract came this week with the NDA, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this kind of thing because there's clauses of loss income, and I'm like, okay, no, thank you. We'll keep it, and when it comes out, I'll show.
That makes sense. Stuff We Do says left-handed people die 7 years earlier than us normal people. So please start using your right hand. We need you.
It's funny, I'm left-handed, but I basically only write with a pen left-handed because when I was growing up, my father, I mean, I grew up from a hunting family. He comes from the farm and kind of stuff. So we had right-handed rifles, and he said, there's no way he's buying a left-handed rifle. He's not wasting money. I had to learn. So everything I do, sports, pistol shooting, archery and stuff, is right-handed. So I even carry my knife like a right-handed person on the right-hand side, you know. But yeah, the lefty is still useful. I'm basically a fully ambi now. So that's a good part, I suppose.
There you go. Illuminati Ninja, good morning. Good to see you, homie. Member Kripple Krew Inc. What were you saying, Aldo?
I was going to ask you on. So I know before, obviously, he started with the designs and stuff like that. He was actually an avid supporter of the Pickled Steel brand. But for the life of me, I can't remember which is the models that you liked and the ones that you carried.
It was the Ghost. There's still something about that knife. It was just what blew me away. Aldo sent me one. I said, listen, I want to get one. I can tell you now, I'm not a rich person. It's tight son months, boys in school kind of thing, and there's not lots of money so you must budget carefully. And he was so kind to say, listen, I'll send you one, and you can see the quality of the stuff we're getting into and stuff. And he sent me the Ghost, and I was just blown away by the quality you get for the amount of money. The cost versus performance is insane. And that's also from that Ghost is actually where we decided to change to D2 on the War Hog, because that Ghost had D2 on. And I said to him, there's something wrong with this D2 because it doesn't go blunt. It's not how I know. He showed me some testing. I can't remember. It was a familiar YouTuber and stuff, and they actually did hard. Yeah, and it was ridiculously hard for D2, but it worked. I mean, I never thought when I temper stuff or heated, I always go for a high hardness, but I never thought you could do that with D2, or we use K110 here, for instance, essentially the same composition.
Sure.
And from there, it was just like, hell, the steel is good. And I was just, the action, everything was dialed in. I mean, I could spend 2-3 times the amount of money that Ghost cost at Aldo, and I wouldn't get the action or the edge, the performance out of the steel. It just wouldn't be there. So yeah, that's why I became a huge fan, and I knew, listen, I'm working with a good company here that's building something proper, not trying to charge you an arm and a leg because they realize, oh, we've got a good steel or we've got a good action. But actually, it's I wouldn't say it's more than fair for what you're getting. It's way more than what you're paying. So yeah, I was very happy. The Ghost, there's quite a few I like. I like the Freya as well. Beautiful, lightweight, excellent user blade. Yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes for me, as a guy that loves a budget knife. Look, I still like a premium, but that kind of thing, it's my heart, because I don't want to take a $200, $300 knife and, oh, well, I'm in the field now, I've hunted, cut open, and now baton some wood kind of stuff. That knife, I'm like, sure, I'll do it because the price doesn't scare me. But the thing is, that knife can actually do it at that price. It can take the beating that you hand out to it.
Yes, the high hardness D2 that we're getting on these pickled steel knives, you're right. It does feel different. It's stickier, it's sharper, and it's holding it. It's holding it for such a good time. And it's phenomenal value for the price that we're paying for these knives. Under $60 to get a War Hog, right around $50 with code Kripple10, depending on the exchange rate. Under $30 for a Freya, you're under $40 on the Capilavaro. I mean, right about $40, just over on the Capilavaro. And they're all high quality knives that come screaming sharp. and
One thing
are
that
well put together, very well put together.
I've never gotten a pickle steel knife where the edge wasn't perfect. You know, it would slice paper, it would trim your army, you can slice, cut if you want, shave with it if you need to. And I've actually bought, you know, I started as a knife collector as well, went very high up into the customs as well, and then productions and stuff. And you can sometimes spend a lot of money and receive a knife with a not so great edge, where you basically have to take it immediately once you bought it, put it on your system, whatever. I use the KME and sharpen it. I've never had with a pickle steel razor sharp out of the box, like in really razor sharp.
Agreed. I want to give a quick shout out to Knives of Life, member for 1 month. He says, yo, my dude. And what's the word in South Africa? Yeah, it's good. Appreciate your support, Cal. Glad to have you here. While, you know, after I see that, I'm going.
I see.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I see that War Room said that the Ghost needs thumb studs. So, as a matter of interest, the Ghost is going to be redone. It's going to be a flipper delete with thumb studs and titanium pocket clip. So we are definitely making changes to it. So we are doing very similar to what we did with the Freya. Flipper delete, tuning in that detent absolutely perfect with some really nice ripped thumb studs, and then we're changing the pocket clip to a titanium one as well. And it will be in the same price range.
Same price range. That is awesome.
Yeah, look, I think that's the one thing as well. And maybe I guess a lot of people ask, I mean, Johan, your experience, not just with us, but I mean, in general, with the big manufacturers, the Kaisers, the artisans, those type, and obviously me with Remet. I mean, what has your experience been in the type of quality that is coming out of those factories with people that still have a bit of a problem with the East?
Look, I can understand these geopolitical views and kind of stuff, but if you break it down into, if you didn't see a made by who on it, it's very tough to beat the Chinese at the moment. For instance, they can often produce a knife, package it, send it for less than I can buy the raw materials in South Africa. So it's incredibly difficult to compete with them on the price point. You can't in that sense. But then they've managed, you know, in the past, China used to push cheap stuff here, but it wasn't the greatest. And I think they realized, you can even see it in their car market, and how they're hurting other car manufacturers, is that they realized, yes, we must be able to provide a great price, but the quality must be up there as well. And really, I mean, you see stuff like, I worked at a lot of the companies, like the new Kaiser X series, that fancy, I think it's a silver wing they brought out now.
That silver wing is crazy.
It's crazy. And the kind of machining they did on it, you know, it's really, it can't be cheap, and there's still, and people's like, oh, it's an expensive knife. No, it's not. If you go and look at the machining in terms of machine hours, cutter costs, that kind of stuff, the quality is phenomenal. I don't think it stands back. Look, I still have a soft spot for Chris Reeve knife myself. I think because Chris was from South Africa, and it's just what he's done in the industry and stuff in terms of quality, but it's no longer where you can say, oh, one country is superior to the other in terms of quality being produced. I mean, yes, you can still find cheap, nasty stuff, but at the price range, the East at the moment, it's very hard to beat. Frankly, I don't think it can.
Now that you mention it, Johan, it goes back to the previous conversation. I actually remember now, because when you sent the designs and we spoke, you said, oh, no, China, I'm not very sure, etc. And then I sent you the Ghost. And that's kind of right after that when it started. No, yes, I mean, if it can do that. So, yeah, look, I mean, I think the quality that is coming out, and what I enjoy, I said it the other night on the live as well, is that we have the opportunity to put our own quality controls in as part of their manufacturing process. And that makes a huge difference. It's not like you get a completed thing and you have to live with it. Is that from there, you actually get to see during the process. And I mean, I can show the guys, here's your frame, here's your blade, here's this, here they're sharpening, here they're doing this. So you can ensure that what you get is out there. And I have to be honest, and I mean, I don't want to tempt fate now, but I'm yet to have one person call me on the War Hog and say, my clip is broken, or the knife doesn't work, or I had to change my Omega springs already, or it doesn't hold the edge. It's unheard of. It's really unheard of. And I think that's what a quality design with great manufacturing at a good price, ultimately, I think is definitely where it's going to end up, is that I think custom designs made by great manufacturers is where I think it's going to end up. There's always going to be there's always going to be the customs. They are going to be very special. They are going to be very sought after. But I think the world is heading a lot more to production quality, but still custom design. And I think that's what I honestly believe.
That makes sense. And you're correct when you say that the quality that's coming out now, there's no comparison to what we used to consider Chinese knives or Chinese manufactured anything. It used to be, I don't know if it was in South Africa, but forever here we thought of made in China as a slur. Like that was cheap. You knew you were getting cheap garbage. That's not the case anymore. They have some of the best manufacturing facilities in the world.
If you actually see their machine capabilities and facilities they've got, it's eye-opening to see those factories. And I'm not talking about 2 or 3 CNC machines, cheapies, old stuff. I'm talking a bank of 40 standing in a row, latest technology, high precision. These guys are not playing around. It's look, there is things that happen in the country why they can do that kind of stuff, but the quality is and the capability they've got as a nation to produce at the moment is it's difficult.
Very true. War Room is asking, Aldo, do you sell spare Omega springs?
No, we don't. Believe it or not, there's been a lot of requests for it. I haven't actually actioned anything about it. If there's a need for it and people want to use it in some of the other stuff or as extras, I mean, I can definitely look into it, but it's not something so
that would be one of the reasons is to use them in other knives, because these do feel good, and we don't like weak feeling springs that we have in some of our other knives. Gonzo, member Kripple Krew Inc., what is up? El Cap, member Kripple Krew Inc., what's up? Chris Lopez, yo, good to see you.
I see knives are live.
Just in time, what's up, homie? Congrats on the wins.
I see Knives on Live asking a very interesting question. Chinese OEM, why not Taiwan? So interestingly enough, I've got 4 manufacturers now. I've got 2 in China, 1 in Hong Kong, and 1 in Taiwan. My luxury kitchen range comes out of Taiwan with the Japanese inspiration. I've shown some of that before, and I'll take one out just now to show you. Every country where there's OEMs, I mean, just to give you an idea, in the Guangdong province in China, where most of the manufacturers are, there's 2,000 manufacturing buildings there. 2,000. It's
95% of the world's cutlery.
Knives comes from that one area. So I have all of my fixed blades comes from Hong Kong. My luxury stuff comes from Taiwan. My folders, including these that we're talking about now, all come from China. So it's not just China, it's the area in the Far East that really makes great knives. I've investigated American OEMs, I've investigated local OEMs. Unfortunately, to bring quality at a good price, I have to use people that would fall within my price bracket, and that's why we chose them. So it's not just about, I guess, Chinese, it's about I use Taiwan and I use Hong Kong as well.
Yeah, I think I'll just add on that because I've looked at having stuff OEM as well with ideas of having one knife in the future under my own brand, and it's always what you pay and versus what you can sell it for. So Taiwan, hands down, fantastic manufacturing. I mean, you can see it on the Spydercos that the Taichung Taiwan Spydercos are always amazing, but the cost per unit can sometimes be almost double of what a Chinese manufacturer would charge you, and the quality isn't double in that sense, you know. So you're paying a lot more for a knife that may be 5% better, if it even is better. So that's why, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people would want to work with Taiwan as manufacturers, but it's all cost. It's just, yeah, unfortunately, that's how capitalism I work, I suppose. It's versus what you can buy it for and what you can sell it for. And I think in South Africa, Aldo and like me, we have to be mindful of that because we first look at our market. It's a lot smaller than the American market and many other countries' knife markets. But we have to be aware that in South Africa, stuff can be tough. I mean, the cost of living has gone crazy. You can ask Aldo, it's really expensive to do a normal, non-extravagant lifestyle these days, just to feed your child and have food and, you know, petrol and all this wonderful stuff that you need. So then it comes where I want to sell this knife in my country, but I know if I'm going to sell this knife for 2,000, I won't have buyers. But if I sell it for 1,000 or less, yes, people will support me. And you want to, we want to, I think that's what Aldo does. We want to be known in South Africa as well. You know, that's where we come from, kind of thing. So you have to look at, unfortunately, at that kind of stuff of, I need to, I think Aldo does this wonderful where just let's say for argument's sake, we get a knife made and it costs $40. He's not going to straight go and charge you $400. Aldo will actually say, listen, how little can I get on this knife to make it, first of all, sell in South Africa and be fair? So from my point of view, and I suppose that's from Aldo's as well, is just Aldo, I don't think is out there to become rich with this kind of thing. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's more passion. And then we have to look at what we can sell it for. So unfortunately, you have to look at quality versus price.
Yep.
Absolutely. I want to give David Jewell a big salute. Kripple Krew Inc. member for 3 months. He says, pickle seal, great for stabbing pork and pickles. I appreciate you, David Jewell. There was a question, is there any manufacturing in South Africa? And there's also a question, when will the pickle steel knitted dolls be available?
The support pickle, I'm actually starting to look at that. I posted a picture of that the other day. I actually found it on the internet and someone shared it with me, and I thought that's a great idea. We are actually looking at that as a kind of a cool accessory to go with it. So I can't give any timelines and stuff around that. I'll let you take the question on the manufacturing.
Manufacturing as in production, most definitely not. There is people like the, I don't know, Bernard knives. They've got quite a bit of capable of machining muscle, but, you know, it's only for their own knives. So they'll have CNCs, but it's just for them. It's not like I can approach them for OEM work. So knife as in production in South Africa, I don't even think the honey badger is made in China, I think.
No, it's made by Bestech now.
Yeah, so there isn't, as far as I'm aware. I've looked at having stuff manufactured here, but then in terms of machining cost per hour, that kind of stuff, it's ridiculously expensive. So if you don't own your own kind of thing, it's just not viable. Unfortunately, at the moment, it won't happen in South Africa anytime soon, I think.
So here's an interesting thing. I've noticed. Honey Badger is a very proudly South African company, and it's a really good knife, and it was manufactured locally as well. They paired up with Bestech and they moved the manufacturing overseas, and 2 things happened. The quality stayed pretty similar, but the price doubled, and I don't know why. And I think that's where we've taken we've taken in South Africa the majority market share from Honey Badger, purely because their cost just went ridiculous. I mean, their D2 that would compare to something, in my price range of $40 is now costing $80, $90.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened with them. Maybe it was the international fame that because I know it's sold international as well, and you can get it on
They did. They became pretty big for a budget name for a little while. They were pretty hot, but for FRN scales, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, but for FRN scales and the steels that they're putting out, their prices have gone way up.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
it's no longer a $30 to $40 FRN and HCR knife. Like you said, they are $80 FRN and D2 knives.
Yes. So I mean, if you look at a comparison, would you want to buy a honey badger at $80, or would you want to buy a premium 14C aluminum War Hog at that price, or even potentially less? That's the
True. Or if you were looking for something with FRN and D2, why not buy two or three of these and have some money left over?
Agreed. Agreed. So I wanna maybe show you one of my the stuff we do. You said it very well. Honey Badger lost their mind when they started with D2 and 14C.
Yes.
I want to show you a knife. So this is I did show the picture the other day, and some of you might have seen it. So this is a custom that was made for me by Jonathan Jacobs. He's the designer of the Typhon that's on its way to the US for review. But just to give you an idea, this is called the Makulu. Makulu in South African in our native language means big. Just to kind of give you an idea, this is the dark matter fat carbon.
I love that.
With a Elmax blade, titanium hardware all over.
God, what a gorgeous knife.
And I mean, this, obviously I'll fail it. Look at this blade shape.
Love it.
So yeah, this is custom
gorgeous
that he made, and we're actually looking at potentially, but again, just the quality of a custom to kind of give you an idea. I mean, there's not a lot of effort in. There we go. It's crazy the action that these things have got. So yeah, this is my personal one. I did not send it over. I'm not going to send it over.
I recommend that. You remember, I recommended you not. I said, don't do it. Keep it. Don't send that across the world, because then we got to send it back, and like that's too much risk for a one-of-a-kind knife.
Yeah, look, I must say, I'm incredibly impressed with that knife. And again, I'm very patriotic to be South African. I love the whole globe and everything around it, but I honestly believe South Africa has got so much talent that is hidden away. And one of the things that I definitely want to do, and that's what I'm doing as part of this whole thing with the custom designs, is I want to put South African designers on the map. What we've done over the last year and a half with Johan has opened up a whole new world for him. And that's great, because I get to make a little bit of money out of it. I get to put knives out there. I get to live out my passion. But all of a sudden, he doesn't necessarily have to make knives anymore. He can design, which is his passion. And there's so many talented designers. Wait till you see some of the other knives that you guys are going to review in the next short while. The talent that is in this country is scary when it comes to knife making. I don't know. It's just something that we've got. And I'm not saying any other country has not got it. But for such a small, I mean, we 50 million people in the country. It's the quality that comes out of this country is just amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And that's what we're proud of. And that's what I said from day one, is I want to give guys that are putting their hearts and lives into this the opportunity to have this on the world stage. And that's what we're doing. And I mean, thinking back, Johan, I mean, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, when me and you started talking about this, all of a sudden saying we're on a live with people from across the world talking about your knives that you, I mean, it's you can't even fathom it.
It's very surreal, I would say, because I mean, I stay in a smallish city, and you sometimes feel almost not isolated, but you're in awe. You watch these other knives and these other designers and makers, and it's fantastic. And you feel you would never be able to get here, because how do you even start, kind of thing. It's like, what do you do? And then the opportunity was given to me, and I think Aldo is right. There's a lot of talented guys. I chat with Jono a lot, the Typhoon and Makulu, and he does some fantastic custom knives. And what you can actually pick them up for is also ridiculous. A lot of makers in South Africa actually undersell this stuff. It's priced less than what it should be, but unfortunately we have to do that because our market is here, especially a lot of the new guys. Even for me, I mean, that's why I've almost transitioned to designing rather than making. I still am in the shop every now and then, but it's just I can only charge a certain amount for a knife, even though, and I think I one day worked it out on one knife. It was one of those days and I wasn't feeling it kind of thing. And I think I worked out I could have gone and pumped gas at the gas station. In South Africa, we still have the tendency, not like the Americans, we have to pump your own. And I would have earned more working the day at the gas station per hour than I made in profit on that knife. And that kind of hurts because there's a lot of guys that's extremely talented and they work their hands to the bone, but they don't get the recognition, and it's just a kind of thing. It's a never-ending struggle. So yeah, it's surreal for me where I'm suddenly sitting here in live stream. My kids were so excited because they all into the games and watching on YouTube and stuff. They're like, "Are you going to be on YouTube?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "What? How is that even possible?" It's like this weird us because
that's awesome.
Used to it. So like, no, we're going to watch. I said, you'll find it. You probably won't understand, but I just think it's amazing that their dad is on YouTube for some reason. It's like, I'm a celebrity. I'm like, definitely not. Just a little guy just doing what he loves. But yeah, it's amazing the doors that get opened. And I suppose that's also where the South Africans and designers and stuff have to thank guys that produce channels like yours. Otherwise, our stuff wouldn't be seen. I mean, if it wasn't for channels showing the War Hog and stuff, people wouldn't know about it. And so what? You made these knives, and who's going to buy them? Because I can tell you, for instance, if you have to have, let's say, OEM says, listen, minimum 600 units, and you can only choose one or two handle materials. You can't choose too much because then the cost goes out. It's very difficult. I can tell you it's going to be very difficult to sell 600 of the same knife in South Africa. It's going to take you a long while, more than a year or two. I can tell you that. The market is just not big enough. So yeah, it's surreal and it's happening quickly. But yeah, I suppose it's I'm bubbling here, talking nonsense. But yeah, it's still incredible. I still can't believe people say, "Oh, you're a knife designer." I'm like, no, I'm definitely not a knife designer. I'm just the guy that does it because I like it. But yeah, the opportunities come, and it's just surreal sitting here on YouTube talking with knife nuts about knives, and one that I've drew up. I mean, I still sometimes can't believe it.
Awesome. I love it, man. I'm glad I could be a part of it for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, stuff we do says you should give your kids a shout out real quick.
Vir Dio en AJ, julle moet lekker slaap, hoor. Basically just told him Afrikaans, our dialect, they must sleep, because I know the oldest one, if you don't watch him, he'll play that Fortnite or whatever till late at night. So I have to now if he's in bed yet.
The question that I do want to get to real quick, but first I want to pop in here and to show my gratitude for the support. Let's give away 5 memberships to the channel real quick. And let's see who gets those. Darkwater, Raccoon Tactical, Mr. Duck Yup, Ivari Ivari, and Mad Yako all got memberships for Kripple Krew Inc.
Awesome.
Congrats, guys.
And Alex Kerber asked if Pickled Steel have no adverts. No, Gareth, I finally figured out the right way to give away memberships. They're laughing because I've tried to do this on a couple of streams, and YouTube always pops up during a live stream. Hey, you really should put in an ad right now. And I'm like, no, I'm not breaking up my live with an ad. And 2 live streams in a row, I've clicked that stupid ad pop up. But hey, we got it to work this time. Alex Kerber is asking, does Pickled Steel have a classic or signature knife?
So classic knife, yes, we are looking at, there's quite a few slippies, slip joints, etc., from more of a classic range coming out. But if you do want to know kind of my, let's call it the signature knife, DBD, I did send you an Instagram photo now. We decided that design is going to be the signature Pickled Steel knife. You're more than welcome to show it.
Oh, yes. I love this one. I will show it right now.
And I'll talk a little bit about that one. So that's going to be, well, let's wait for it to come up. Then
Here we go. Look at that milling.
So that is going to be called the Pickle. It was going to be the Ghost Pro, but we decided to change the name. So it's going to be in D2 with micarta. It will be in 14C with aluminum, and it will be in M390 with titanium. Exactly the same knife. It runs on ceramic bearings. It's got a small flipper tab. It's about what's that? 6, 7, 2.5, 4, 6. It's about 7, almost 8 inches open length with a 3.5-inch blade. Yeah, so that is going to be that design was done by me in conjunction with Shan Oy, who's the main designer at Remet. So that is what will be coming out in my. That is the Pickle that will be coming at some point.
I like it. I like it. What was I going to say? The micarta on the Pickle. We got to have a green version.
Yeah.
Same with the aluminum. We should have a green aluminum Pickle.
Yeah. Look, I think that I share as much as I can usually, but I do have quite a few aces up my sleeve. There is quite a few things that we're working on that I will share in due time. We've got quite a lot of stuff coming out in the next while, so I want to make sure to give everyone the credit and the airtime that they deserve around that. But there is going to be a couple of very interesting things coming out. Let's just leave it at that.
I like it, and I do appreciate that you continue to share as much as you do on this channel. I really appreciate that, Aldo. Showing off for the Kripple Krew is awesome.
No problem.
And Gabe Harlan says, are there Ultim pickles coming?
Not yet. Not yet. I am thinking about it, but not yet. Interesting that Caleb, it reminds me of a couple of Remets, and that's a good thing you like their stuff. Well, Remet is the main OEM. So Remet is the one that made the War Hog, and they make all of our customs. So there is a little bit of, let's say, some of their technical guidance that we do take. As an example, the Typhon that will be reviewed has got a button lock, but the one that's being produced has got that button liner lock that came out in the Remet Rhino, which is that version I call the Ragnar. But we're using that same locking mechanism from them, and I think that's the nice thing around working and getting a relationship with a great OEM, is that they come up with a lot of new tech, and they allow you to use it within your own environment as well. So Ultim, not quite sure, but definitely there's Remet is an amazing company, and I absolutely love working with them.
Yeah, the button liner lock is going to be big. That's going to be really, really big.
Yeah.
Mrs. Deadly says, member for 3 months, says, don't forget to slash the like button. Much appreciated, Mrs. Deadly. I'll give you the baby banter salute for my baby.
Yeah, so look, I must say this, I think now, this year specifically, I know we might say it every year, but this year specifically, I think it's an amazing year to be a knife fanatic. I think the options you have, the quality that's coming out, the amount of manufacturers that are coming and really bringing quality stuff, I think it's a great time to be a knife fanatic. there is so many beautiful options out there. And I think that's great. I think it's great for us as knife fanatics.
I have to agree. We've got everything from budget to premium to super premium to customs, and the from all over the world. And we've got any type of steel we could think of, handle materials, locks. I mean, we have such an amazing selection of cutting tools available to us nowadays.
I want to ask you on a question, if I may.
Of course.
I heard you talking about it the other day, so it's a bit of a loaded question, but there's a lot of new steels coming out. And you, obviously, from a design perspective, having the opportunity to kind of choose steels, what is your view on some of the steels, the older type steels, and then obviously some of the newer, really technologically advanced steels that are coming out?
Look, steel and molecular stuff is my passion. I did it. I was part of material science and stuff. I think we are spoiled. I remember, I think my first hunting knife my dad gave me was 440B, and then after you got 440C, and that was it for a long while. And
yes,
that was it. That was the knife steel. It didn't have to even print or that's this knife steel. That was just accepted. And there's a lot of steels. It's funny that we say new steels, but if you do research on them, some of them are not that new. We have to remember that the knife steel industry is actually very small. Stuff like Vanex and stuff and has been along for a while, but was, for instance, maybe in the commercial fishing industry or kind of stuff. I love the idea that we've got all these steels and it gets very technical and what the steel can do. The only thing is, I think people tend to forget, about certain steels. It's like, oh, this is the flavor of the month steel, and everybody wants that steel. Where in realistic testing and using and stuff, it's not that much better and stuff. I, for instance, still have a very soft spot for 154 cm. I think it's a fantastic knife steel. Now it's a lot older and people are viewing it as a budget steel. I think it's fantastic that you can get a steel like that as a budget steel. We are blessed with the materials we've got in terms of steel for knives. I mean, it's no longer 440C or nothing. You can get crazy stuff, and you actually have now where you can use steels for specific purposes, like LC200 if you want rust proof, or Magna Cut, for instance. I mean, that's amazing. I've looked at it. I've worked with it. Not fun to hand sand, I can tell you that. 64 Rockwell. You start cursing and questioning life choices when you stand there and sanding it. But it's just amazing what we can achieve with steels. I mean, theoretically, if you look at old textbooks, Magna Cut shouldn't be able to do what it's doing. I mean, the corrosion resistance it's getting, the theory of the old theory said it shouldn't be able to. You need certain amount of chrome in it to make it like stainless and stuff. And yeah, I think we're very blessed. Like I say, there's a lot of steels I still rate highly. I'm a huge fan of 154 cm and then Elmax. Elmax for me is a fantastic, I would say, middle ground steel, in terms of it can do everything well. And I just personally like working with it as well. The way it sands, grinds, that kind of thing. So yeah, we are blessed. But at the end of the day, as long as you've got a proper steel, it doesn't really matter to me as much anymore. I mean, when I was still buying as well and looking at knives, it was always, oh, what's the greatest, the new steel, and it has to be this kind of thing. I remember when I got into this S30V, and now you don't see knives with S30V anymore, but it's actually still a fantastic steel. I mean, Spyderco still uses it, but if you go and look at what it does and how it performs with a toothy edge versus other steels, it's fantastic. So yeah, we're blessed. And yeah, the steel thing is, I think there will always be new ones coming out. Interesting to notice that I think the intellectual property of Crucible was sold now to Eurosteel or something like that. So those steels will be manufactured in Europe as far as I know now. And a lot of name changes will be done. So for instance, S35VN might be called whatever, Supernova or whatever. So yeah, interesting in time for steel as well regarding that. But yeah, steel is steel. I mean, as long as it works,
Yes.
holds an edge and it cuts and I can sharpen it and it doesn't fold on me like a tin can, then I'm happy.
What's your view on the new Nitro V that's being used on that Quicon of yours?
Under Nitro V. Oh, I actually like Nitro V quite a bit. I haven't personally worked with it in terms of hardening or grinding kind of thing. For me, it performs a lot like N690. N690 might not be as well-known steel in South Africa, but it's our bread and butter. If you go to Bowler to buy steel, there will be N690. Try and get other stuff, it's a bit difficult. Even if they manufacture it, you don't get a lot of it. It performs a lot for me like N690 in terms of sharpening and corrosion, but I think it's got a bit more toughness. I feel like you're not supposed to do it, but we all do it sometimes. That tip becomes a screwdriver, and I'm a bit more do that with Nitro V than, for instance, N690. So yeah, I think it's going to be a budget steel we're going to see a lot of in a lot of manufacturers. I've also noticed a lot of the manufacturers are moving to it. But I think it's also the in terms of the performance versus the cost and then the workability. That's something people often forget with steel. It's not just the cost or what it can do, it's how hard is it to turn that piece of raw steel into a functional blade. How many belts am I going to use to grind this, that kind of stuff. So I actually quite like it. I think it's a very good option for a budget steel.
Yeah, so we're going to do quite a lot of our fixed blades. The new Impala Hunter that's coming out from Jan Vol is N690. The Darby Else knives will be N690, which is I'm actually quite excited about it. But I have to say my heart still pulls back to my D2. Again, what Remet gets right with this D2 is phenomenal. It definitely outperforms where it's supposed to be. But that will always be my go-to. I love what it can do for me, and that's me as a seller.
And especially at the price point.
Yeah.
I do want to give David Jewell a huge shout out for the $5 super chat. He said it's going to be a sweet pickle and we all want one. That is a design I have been drooling over for a while because Aldo has shared it with me. Not the name Pickle, that's new. That's new information, but yeah, very, very cool. And I also want to say what's up to TKE, the Night's Edge, my fluffer. He had a great live stream today. Congrats on 4K, my friend. Caleb asks, what do you guys think about MVN 35? So have you guys seen that oh man, pardon me, that there is now going to be a metal injected molded blade that's supposed to get the capability of S35VN. Blade HQ is partnering. I can pull it up with Magpul on this.
Yeah,
it's a Magpul steel.
Very interesting. I don't think you'd be able to do a kind of steel like S35V in for a injection molding essentially, or MIM. So very interesting. Would love to play with it. Haven't held it if it really performs like S35VN or work with it, but very interesting times if that's what we are capable, or what companies will start being able to do with steels, is to manufacture a super steel essentially. Very interesting.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy if it really can pull that kind of performance, because then you can design all of your features into the blade.
Yes, and the amount of cost you save in manufacturing, grinding belts, that kind of stuff, it should be phenomenal if the technology actually works like it should. I'm sure there'll be some things like any new technology, but yeah, very interesting, and it might be the future of knife making, especially for production companies where we start manufacturing the blades.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm really gonna be wanting to see how those perform in the long run, because it really, I agree, it really could save manufacturers so much time and cost. And you get one mold, with everything you want on the blade at once and just grind to final edge.
Yeah, a bit of cleanup and
Yeah, some
your edge.
cleanup and crazy.
So it's nuts. I mean, if you suddenly to cut the CNC running that blade profiles out, that kind of stuff is all gone now. So even manufacturing time should be pushed up. The amount or the time in which a knife can reduce. So newer models can suddenly, I know for instance of my designs, I'll send a design out, but you might not see it in a year and a half. Only in 2 years you might even see the design. So some of the stuff has been drawn ages ago. It's just, but now suddenly you might see designs being shown now. 3 months later, it's available.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
TKE, that's my favorite movie that you've just quoted there. I absolutely love Inglorious Bastard. I love that movie.
That is a great movie.
I see MPG was asking about Crucible steels. No, I'm not doing anything in Crucible yet. I do M390. I've got a couple in S35, 14C, and then D2. Those are my
S35 is a Crucible steel. S35 is CPM S35EN.
True. So I've got a couple of models. The Vanna it's a front flipper, titanium front flipper that I've got in S35. And there's another knife that we are considering doing in S35 as well. But I don't know. I just again, my go-to, if I don't know what I want to do and what do I want to choose and what do we want to go, I go back to D2. It's always the starting point for me. I just love it. But that's me. That's my own personal opinion.
So I've got a question for you, Aldo, because I know it's been driving Stuff We Do crazy. What are you flicking? He can't see the knife you're flicking. Gotcha.
Yeah.
He was he was hearing it and he couldn't tell what. He couldn't see the knife that was being flicked.
The original prototype playing with.
So after seeing Johan's, there was a lot of comments in the chat about wanting that brown micarta.
I think it would look stunning, and I think it's definitely something we should consider for the next run as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw a lot of comments about that one.
Yeah, I myself am a sucker for a natural micarta. It's just, you know, it's a synthetic material that doesn't feel synthetic. It almost feels like lively, like wood for me, micarta. So I'm a big fan, and I just love the natural one. I mean, it's no dyes, it's as it is kind of thing. So big fan, and yeah, I'll twist Aldo's arm for a brown one, and then maybe a red micarta down the line as well. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. That could look pretty sweet.
I think that.
I know people were also really interested at the idea of being able to order some thumb studs and pivot collars in different colors.
That's definitely one of the things that we're looking at for the standard, because all of them will work kind of in the same way. So whether it's premium or not, you will be able to kind of swap around. But again, those things, again, believe it or not, the accessories is the stuff that actually takes the longest to ensure that it will fit everything and all kinds of stuff like that. So, but we will get there. We will get there. I've still got many years and many years to go. So
awesome. I'm going to give away 5 more memberships real quick, just because I'm really enjoying this stream. And let's see who gets these. We are welcoming Henry G, Gatita Oso, Danko G, you know he's a smoker, Chase Hawkins, and Newhouse Lock and Key. Welcome new members of Kripple Krew Inc.
Congrats, everyone. I see War Room has posted a video. I'm actually reading that comment now, and I actually think he could be onto something there. I think 14C with my Carter in the Freya. I think that would be the only thing you're going to lose is a lot of the weight. You're gonna gain a lot of weight because you are going to have to put a little bit more of a frame in there than with the FRN. But I think it's definitely something we can consider. I think it would work quite well. So obviously that is skeletonized and it's got a bit of a frame, but with my Carter, you're going to have to put a much thicker frame in. You're going to lose a lot of that lightness.
Sure. Sure, that makes
I mean,
sense.
and I mean
But-
the texture on that FRN is just crazy. That's what I enjoy about it. We don't have a lot of FRN knives, but that one specifically, they just got the texture right.
Yeah, it feels fantastic. I like this feel better than, I've had Benchmade's Grivery. I have Spyderco's FRN on my Manix too. I've handled FRN from a lot of other companies, and this has almost a more rubbery feel, but not sticky. It doesn't feel quite as plasticky, and the texture is right.
So TKE is actually interesting. When we send the knives, or Gareth is going to send the knives over now, he's completed. So there's 4 South African customs coming over and 4 prototypes from me. So if it gets through the review process, I'm sure you'll have the opportunity to have a look at those. You're gonna see 3 fixed EDCs and a slip joint that was made by Philip Dunn.
That slip joint looks so amazing.
And every single one of those knives are 100% handmade. And the jackal that's coming, we're actually going to be producing as it is there, exactly like that. So that's what the production version will look like. So I think you're definitely going to get an opportunity to get your hands on some of them. You might not keep them, but at least you can get to see the quality and go and have a look at Gareth HB's reviews on those. It actually, I'm still amazed every time that I go to a knife show locally and we see some of the South African customs and stuff that they make. It's just amazing. So yeah, we'll definitely try and hook you up with one of those.
Yeah, I believe TKE is already in the group that is going to be getting part of that.
And I just want to remind you, DBD, the Typhon must move on.
I don't know. I still think that the Typhon doesn't have to find its way back all the way to South Africa. I think the Typhon prototype could accidentally land here.
Yeah.
TKE says y'all smash that MF and like button, homie. Yeah, those are very exciting. The customs and the protos. I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on those. And that TKE.
There's a lot of love coming from that side.
Yeah. There's a lot of love coming on them TKE, but they that slip joint. When Gareth, he got a couple of us on a call with him when he opened that box up from you, and wow.
Well,
but that Typhon does. I mean, the other prototypes are hot too, but that Typhon looking fire.
Yeah, look, I mean, we know Philip Dunn obviously in South Africa very well, and I mean, his knife builds it's just crazy. And if you think about, he's the guy that did that slip joint. We're going to be building an auto stiletto for him. That's the one that's coming from him. So old-fashioned stiletto, open from the side.
Nice. With is it going to have the moving the swinging guard and the release? Oh, nice.
So real custom, old-fashioned Italian stiletto is his design. I can't share it quite yet, but that's in the pipe, what we're doing for him as well. I think that's also going to be absolutely amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting year for us. We're aiming to, I think we're talking about 8 models, custom models this year that we're aiming to bring out. So let's see where that goes. But I think it's going to be an exciting year for us at least. And again, just having the ability and getting the insights from guys like Johan, and obviously getting to work with him and some of the other designers is just, I don't think people realize what a privilege it is to have these type of guys insight into the knife world as part of what you're doing. I think it's just amazing. And him immediately, when I asked him, when you chatted to me yesterday, and I immediately asked him and said, will you? And immediately he said, yes, no problem. It's that type of, I guess, attitude that, again, hopefully you're going to start seeing that South Africa is actually a pretty cool place. We don't just farm. We can actually do some other stuff as well, unlike believe. But again, I just want to say it's the acceptance of a new brand in a whole new country, especially the US, has been, I must just say, it is absolutely amazing. It is so nice to see the acceptance that we've received. I don't know, a person, you're actually a bit shell-shocked if you think about it. And again, it's guys like you and TKE and War Room and Aries and all of the different knife channels out there. And Kelly that is doing the distribution behind the scenes. And it's just you guys that are making it possible for us to sit here and kind of live this. I mean, it feels a bit surreal sometimes. I must be very honest with you.
It has been very cool seeing how quickly Pickled Steel has taken over here. You know, I mean, we're talking since late November, early December is when it became. I know you existed before then. I'm just saying that's when it really became part of our awareness for a lot of us because of Gareth.
Yeah, agreed.
And because before he told me to check it out, I hadn't heard of it yet. There's so many. Well, no, I take that back. I believe G-Ball or somebody had one of the knives on.
Yeah.
And G-Ball. And he was like, you know, I got this new company, Pickled Steel. And I remember seeing that, but it was just another new company name that tucked away in the back of my head. And then Gareth was like, yo, y'all need to check these out towards the end of last year. And really quickly, it has taken over our little part of the knife and EDC community. I know the Kripple Krew are big fans of what you guys are doing. And it's been awesome to see in such a short amount of time how many people are all over this. You know, the giveaways that you have sponsored have definitely helped, you know, and the knives that Gareth sent over, the first batch that he sent over, a lot of us gave away. And then, you know, you replaced my stock of knives that I gave away, trying to get the name out there. And so it's been really cool to me to watch the acceptance of the brand so quickly. And it does help that you actually care about the knife community and like to participate. It helps a lot. And it also, you guys say that, you know, having channels show your knives helps you. I want to say thank you, because having you guys, both of you, on my channel today obviously helps me as well. So it's a really great working together. And I do thank you both, because when I asked yesterday, it was I thought of it. I was like, yo, I've got the Cleo here. It won't be here next Saturday because I have to send it on to another reviewer. Now it's coming back to me when it's done, but there is another reviewer for it to go to. And I was like, oh crap. I reached out to Aldo and I was like, yo, is there any chance? I know this is so last minute, but is there any chance you could put this together for 24 hours from now? And he was like, I don't know. Give me a minute. Hit me right back. Yep. Regular time. And so it's very cool to me. And I want to say thank you to both of you gentlemen. I do want to let the chat know that in about 5 minutes, we're going to be doing a giveaway for a Pickled Steel War Hog. So be ready for that. But before this starts to wind down here shortly, I want to see if anybody else has any more questions for these gentlemen while we have them on. Or is there anything else about the future that's coming up that you guys would like to share with us?
Johan, I'll give you. You can go first.
Future-wise, I will just say keep a lookout for the logo. It will become a lot more, people will realize, but yeah, I can't talk too much about it. Like I say, there's now NDA contracts and all that kind of stuff. And
Sure.
but super excited for the future. And yeah, thank you for the knife community. I have to say, it's really a community in the sense that you chat to these people and they're all from different kind of walks of life, doing different things, but you need to click with them, you talk with them, kind of thing. From the content creators to the designers to manufacturers, it's actually amazing an experience and an amazing thing to be part of. So thank you all, and yeah, let's hope for a bright future for everyone.
Yeah, I think from my side, there's obviously quite a lot of stuff happening. I think if everything goes according to plan, we'll get about 8 customs out this year, if not more, into the US and obviously South Africa. And I said the other night, my plan would be in 2026 to be at Blade Show. That's what I'm aiming towards. And hopefully have 1 or 2 of the designers with me there. So that's kind of where I guess our goal is, depending on how it goes in the US this year, in 2026 to kind of attend maybe the Atlanta Blade Show or even Texas or whatever, we'll see. But that's
So I need to plan on working the Pickled Steel booth at Blade Show in 2026 is what you're telling me.
Definitely. Yeah, no, look, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I think it's something that we want to try and aim for. But I mean, only time will tell. But let's see. I do want to maybe share one knife. I'm not sure if you've actually seen it. I showed it the other night on a live when I was on with Legion. A lot of people have also commented around Damascus, and I know it's a very highly debated topic on Damascus, but we've recently released one of our new models called the Scarp, SKARP, and the Scarp Pro. And I want to share it with you because now you can see it nice and properly. So firstly, to give you an idea, this is mold sculpted rosewood, flow-through construction, clip, but the real magic sits in this.
Ooh.
So my Damascus also only comes from one manufacturer, which is the Remet guys. And this is the same Damascus I use on all of my Damon knives. These are core Damascus. So it's actually a 9CR with mild steel mixed 67 fold. And in theory, this classifies as Damas steel, but I'm not allowed to call it Damas steel because it's a stainless Damascus. And the type of patterning that we're getting on it with 67 folds is actually quite amazing. So you'll see a lot of my Damascus knives, and definitely some of them will come to the US as well. And again, to give you an idea, price point on this will be about, for a Damascus with a sculpted wood, will be in the same price range as a War Hog, just to kind of give you an idea. But these are, we can do pretty knives as well.
I like it. I like it a lot. And Stuff We Do, I do want to give Stuff We Do a shout out real quick. Stuff We Do was reviewing pickled steel knives long before we were aware of them. I became aware of Stuff We Do after I became aware of pickled steel. And, you know, I got to give a shout out for the Stuff We Do edition Freya one more again, because this is such a great budget knife. Fantastic, really, for the money. I cannot beat this knife for under 30 bucks. Just like, I don't know if you're aware, Johan, but this was my 2024 knife of the year under $60.
The channels, and I comment, it will be under a different name. I've got an email address that, you know, stuck around from ages ago, so it will be called Halo Bar. But I do follow your channel, and I saw that, and I appreciated it very much. Thank you.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yeah, and I meant it. This is absolutely, I believe, the best budget knife in that price range for last year.
Thank you
But
so much.
Stuff We Do has some awesome reviews. And if you're not following Stuff We Do, you should be.
Yeah, he does videos, I have to say. I always say, yeah, he was one of the first guys that reviewed some of my stuff as well. And yeah, great guy, actually. And awesome stuff. Thank you.
Hey, we've got a celebrity in the house. Gareth is here, Mr. G-Ball.
Yeah. Oh,
First guy
G-Ball's
to
here.
review. Yeah, the first
What's
guy
up,
to review
G-Ball?
steel knife.
Yeah, G-Ball is one of the main reasons that I make content. Like that's where I got into the knife community, like chatting with everybody. And when he moved out of this time slot on Saturday mornings, I immediately jumped in and took it over because he had already primed the audience for it. It was perfect. But I want to go ahead and do the giveaway right quick. If I could get one of the mods to please drop the numbers game rules. We're going to do a numbers game. And Aldo, if you wouldn't mind picking a number and number range and shooting it to me on Instagram.
Sure.
Folk Dudes will always have the number game rules ready. I'm going to click those up. 18 and older, US shipping only, or if you got a proxy address, closest without going over, only one guess. If we have a tie, we will go to a second round. TKE. Now, do not put your guess up until you see mods put up the green lights. When the green lights go up, the number range will be 200 to 300. Number range 200 to 300. One guess only. Wait for the green lights. There we go. Green lights up. Go ahead and put your guesses up. One guess only. This is for a Johan Jordaan designed pickled steel War Hog with the green micarta. And it is already in the US, ready to ship. So we don't have to wait for customs or anything like that.
So while the guys are putting in their numbers, DBD, just for your info as well, a new batch of black ones will be going to Kelly as well. And if all goes well, hopefully we'll be there in about 2 weeks or so. So the black ones will be back in stock in the US as well.
Awesome. And when were we expecting the second models to touch down? I know stuff was in route or very close.
Yeah, look, it is very close. Some of the models are still on the airport waiting to fly. So as soon as they get onto a plane, it will be about 2 days, 3 days, then they're there. I did have a bit of logistical issues, but I'm hoping to get all of that sorted out this week. Obviously, first time shipping directly from China to the US. Just making sure that we're doing everything above board and stuff like that. So I don't think it's too long. I'm hoping that it will still definitely be in March.
Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah. All right. If we'll give it about 30 seconds and mods throw up the red lights, please. Yeah, really looking forward. Now, and just a reminder, folks, if you're looking on the Pickled Steel website and you want to buy a knife and it's not on the US availability tab, you can still purchase the knife. Just know that the shipping's going to take a little bit longer. You will still get your knife. It's just the US shipping, when that stuff's available on a US tab, it's going to get to you quicker. Brian F., okay, you got a guess in. It's going to get to you quicker and the shipping cost is going to be less. So don't let not being in the US stop you from purchasing a knife. And even though we have Pickled Steel on the line or on here with us, I do want to point out that you can right now get the Johan Jordaan designed Cleo from Artisan Cutlery. They have the copper ones available right now for $139. This is a killer 5th pocket knife. And there is a Kaiser Quaken fixed blade available, designed by Johan Jordaan, that you can get right now. So I know those two aren't pickled steel knives, but I still wanted to let everybody know about them. Mods, if you will give me a hand. I know I saw somebody hit it on.
There's
at least
one
one.
with
The
a
number
spot on.
is 277.
Yeah, there's a spot on there.
Yeah, 277 was the winning number. I saw at least one.
Yeah, Fook has got 277, I saw.
I'm making sure we don't have any ties. It's looking like Fook Doozle to me.
Yeah, I only saw one.
All I see is Fook Doozle. Mods, you agree? Looks like Fook Doozle is the winner.
But do you think he deserves it? That's the real Just a joke. Just a joke.
Congrats, Fook. I know, thank you to all my mods for always helping make sure that these number games run smoother than when TKE does it. I really appreciate being able to do all things better than TKE. But congrats, Fook Doozle. That is awesome, homie. Fook, you can reach out to me, Kelly, or Aldo with your address to get that sent out.
Yeah, I think the easiest might be Kelly.
Hit Kelly White with your address, because that's where your War Hog is shipping from.
Yep.
And gentlemen, I know it's starting to get later over on your side. I really appreciate you hanging out with me for 2 hours. That is awesome. Is there anything you guys would like to add?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to chat a bit with fellow knife guys, share a bit of my story and what's happening. And no, thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Johan, thank you for agreeing to do this. It's wonderful, I guess, for everyone to meet you as well, and your inspiration and the stuff that you're doing. Even though it's other brands, we know it's still awesome quality. And I think that's the cool thing about it as well, is that I don't mind. So from my side, just again, thanks for the opportunity and the airtime that we got.
And I wasn't planning on shutting it down just yet. I just know that it was getting later. If either of you guys have to bail, that's completely understandable, but I'm planning on going for a little while longer. And that seems like we might still have some questions. So if you have to get out of here, I understand.
I can gladly stay on for about another 5 or 10 minutes or so, and I'll answer some questions. No issues. I don't know about Johan. You'll have to.
I'm gonna have to run. I've got a wife in crutches with a broken ankle and 2 boys that need to get off Fortnite and in bed right now.
No, I completely understand. And I really do appreciate your time, Johan. We will have to do this again.
Definitely. It was great fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Johan.
you.
Evening,
I hope you have a killer night, and say hello to the family, please.
I'll do so. Have a good one, everyone. For those who still have to go work, I think it's morning for you guys now, and I'm off for my nightcap bourbon and then the bed.
Yeah, nice. Have one for the Kripple Krew.
I'll do so. Thank you.
Thanks, Johan.
Bye.
Ciao.
So, Aldo Sever is asking about Pickled Steel, if you guys are do collabs or OEM. Sever has a design that's coming out soon called the Get Some, and I think he's asking about, like, say, the process for submitting a design to you.
Yeah, so I mean, you can.
I'm going to
you
grab
can,
some water real quick while you're answering that question. I will be right
Yes,
back.
yes. I mean, yeah, we definitely do collabs, and we definitely through my manufacturers we do OEM, depending what type of model it is. So, if you do have a design that you're considering making or doing, please feel free to shoot it on to me. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it through Kelly or any of the other channels. And if you go to the website, all my contact details is there as well. I have to be very honest and say that our order book for this year is full. We're working on 12 models currently, 8 that will come out in this year. So this year, unfortunately, I don't think anything will happen, but definitely open for the next year. And it sounds so weird saying it, but yeah, we've got so many new things that are happening and so many designs that have come in that definitely will have a look at it. But I don't think we're going to have capacity for this year to produce anything. But definitely, if you want to get into the process now, more than willing to have a look at it, and then we can just plan it around when the next gap comes in, if that's okay. Well, I mean, if I may ask, why Homing Adventures? You've got you won a pickled steel or two, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're on their way to you as well. You haven't received them yet, or have you? If I may ask.
I'm really excited to see to get something that he has coming.
I just asked why Homing Adventures now. I know she won on one of the lives. She won a knife as well, and just interested. I think she won a War Hog, if I'm not mistaken.
No, she won a Freya Stuff We Do edition chocolate, and that's on its way to her right now.
And I think she won a War Hog as well.
Oh, that's right. She did. She
Yeah.
won a War Hog on another channel.
So, Kila Lamas, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Do we have any top liner button lock knives? Yes, we do. The Typhon that will be reviewed in the US very soon is definitely a top button lock. We've got a knife called the Hokal, which is also 14C with a button lock. We've got the Ragnar, also 14C, and then that button lock, the liner button lock, yes, definitely. The Ragnar and the Typhon will be made in that as well. So the Typhon's lock will be changed from a pure button to that button liner lock, which was initiated by Ramet.
That's awesome.
And the Gladius as well, yeah, definitely the Gladius. The Gladius is a normal button lock. Believe it or not, it hasn't got that extra locking. But the Gladius is definitely also in M390, and it is in 14C, if I'm not mistaken.
That's awesome.
So the Typhon should be end of April, beginning May in the US. We're in the final stages of production now.
That's cool.
Jim, you did. Yeah,
Jim Cox pre-ordered one of each. That is awesome.
There's actually quite a few people from the US that have pre-ordered, which is quite nice. So thank you for that.
That is so cool. Glad to hear it.
And someone asked who's got the Typhon now. It's still by Gareth. He's still doing his final reviews and videos on it, and then when he's done, it will go over to the US.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to get that in hand. That's of the prototypes coming. That's the one I'm most excited to handle, and that's going to be in the not too distant future.
Gareth, yeah, he's asking, can he share pics of what he's have? By all means, please do. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I'll put those up.
Yeah, no issue.
I'm gonna show the pickle one more time because I'm excited for the pickle.
I think if you look at the ergos on it, I'll send you a picture as well that's got a where it's open and stuff like that. If you look at the ergos on it, it's just where the bottom area is, if you've got bigger hands, your pinky is going to fit perfectly on there or just off it, which will actually give it extra grip. And I think that's going to be amazing. I think that's going to be it in hand feel is going to be crazy, absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
I like that little flat pinky ledge. Yeah, let me pull up the Gareth pictures. Oh, we haven't sent them yet. But yeah, that pinky ledge, I'm going to show that real quick because you can see that in this picture. Right there. That's where it's going to help make that really comfortable.
100%.
And those are contoured?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
If you
that's...
zoom, I don't know how far you can zoom into it. I've got a picture of it really close by. You can actually see there. So it's all mold. And obviously the micarta is not going to have, it's going to be more micarta, but that is, so there's one or two small things that we're going to change, but that was the original prototype that was done. And that is going to be, it'll get there. It'll get there.
I like it. I like it.
And again, if we've obviously got quite a lot of models, and if you want to have a look at, I used to send all the new prototypes and models to Stuff We Do. So if you want to go and have a look at, he's got videos spanning back 18 months, 2 years with some of our models and reviews. He did a review on that Typhon quite a long time ago. I think Gareth said he'll pin some of those on his side as well. But Stuff We Do did a lot of reviews on a lot of our knives.
Yes,
so if you want to see some of them, and they also definitely there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not following Stuff We Do, you should be. Very, very good knife reviews.
Yeah, I see MPS asking, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to show the pictures from Aldo right here. We'll present. So these
those are Gary, yeah.
Are the prototypes. Right here, we got our Typhoon. But the Blood Eagle doesn't have the wave opening feature on. Well, that's not going to be called wave, but it will have a pocket opening feature.
Yes. Yeah, it will. Those are the prototypes that were done without it. And then the top one is the Amagrati. I think you guys are going to like that. There's a couple of design changes coming in that one, but I think you guys are going to like that.
I forgot the name of this one right here next to the Typhoon.
Cosmos,
duh, that's right.
The
and then these... Go ahead.
Sorry, DBD. The Cosmos has got the most wicked action you are ever going to feel on a knife. When you open that thing, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I really like the shredded carbon fiber inlays and pivot collar.
So interesting about that one, there's going to be a small little bit of champering on where the button lock is, which was not on the prototype. And your first view of the pocket clip is going to be, oh my God, what is this? Once you work with it, you'll see why.
Gotcha.
Why we stuck with that.
And
so
then,
yeah. So the top one there is called the Companion from a guy by the name of Johan Jordaan or Bliksem Blades. The second one is a Hunter from Darby Els, just to kind of give you an idea of the quality that these guys do. And then the bottom one is the Jackal that's getting produced as we speak. So that one,
this is the custom version, and then you're coming with a production version, right?
100. Yeah, it's going to look exactly the same. The only difference is it's going to be N690 steel.
Awesome. And then this is that Philip Dunn slip joint.
That is, that's an amazing knife.
It really, truly, the pictures I've seen of it are insane. Here's the other side of those, so you can see the pocket clip that he's talking about, actually.
It's, when the design was done, he he said he wanted that, and I said, it's not going to work. And so it's in the production version, it's going to be a little bit flatter, where there by the ledge is going to be about 3 millimeters flatter, so you're not going to feel it in your hand at all.
Okay.
But he was very specific, just like Johan is the detail around this design. He wanted it to flow. And we first put a straight pocket clip on, and even almost similar to what the Typhon has, and it just didn't go with the look. It just didn't feel. So people are saying, "Yo, that's a weird pocket clip." Trust me, it works. It is absolutely amazing when you look at it. A lot of people are not going to like it, but that, because of the front flipper, it actually allows you for your bottom 3 fingers to grip it perfectly in that little ledge when you want to flip it open.
That's awesome.
So in that little groove that it's got there on the right-hand side, it fits perfectly for your fingers to flip it open, and your fingers will never get in the way of the front flipper. And that's the coolest thing about it. So I learned to front flip on that knife.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because I'm always using the clip when I'm using a front flipper. I always use the clip for my grip.
You'll see what I mean with that, how comfortable it actually fits. So that one is 14C, and it's got a wicked action. The action on the Typhon will be improved 400%.
Oh, yes. With the button liner lock, it's going to be, or the top liner lock, it'll be so much better.
100%.
Because it'll have a detent ball.
Yeah.
And I see that you went with the War Hog clip on the Blood Eagle, which is a great idea.
100%. So
for that knife, that's a perfect clip.
Yep. So the cool thing about that one is that the bronze ring was a custom that we added on afterwards. It's actually got a G10 ring, which makes it extremely light and strong. You'll see it. It comes with the knife. And then it will have the auto opener as well. But just that, if you open up that knife with a normal front flip, I don't think there's a knife that opens faster I've ever seen in my life, just because of the way. You'll see what I mean when you hold it. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. And so, I mean, again, a lot of detail that goes into these designs and stuff. And I'm really hoping you guys are going to like that, because you're the first guys, except stuff we do, that will have the opportunity to actually review the original real prototypes. So I think you guys are going to love that.
Yes, Jim Cox, the prototype of the Typhon is a regular button lock. It is not the button liner lock yet on that prototype. And Kilalamus is asking for the name of which ones are going to be top liner locks. I know the Typhon. And what was the other one that's getting the button liner?
The Ragnar's got one already. So our Ragnar model has got one. The Typhon is going to get one. And I can't remember the other. Oh, the Hokal.
Yeah, the Hokal.
Yeah, that one has currently got a pure button. It's also moving to the button liner.
That's awesome. That's such another great Viking name.
Yep, it means shark fish, because it looks like a shark, in my opinion.
Very cool.
If you wouldn't mind, DBD, now you got me on a roll again.
Go for it. That's what you're here for, man.
I see a lot of people say, why the little round logo with the PS instead of the SP, or the SP instead of the PS. You're supposed to read it from the top down. So if you read it from the top down, it's actually designed like that. If you read it from the top down, it's PS. If you read it from left to right, it's SP. But it's actually supposed to be read from top to bottom. PS.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's just the way we did it. So if you read it from the top, you get the P first.
Yeah, you can see what he means right there. Yeah.
But in any case, so if you want to open the website, I want to show you a knife that I don't think not a lot of people have seen. I think Stuff We Do has one, if I'm not mistaken, or has reviewed it.
Yeah, I'll pull it up right now.
It's called the Vanir, VANIR.
VANIR.
Yeah.
Looking it up right now. And as soon as it pulls up, here we go. Let me share my screen. I said,
So that's titanium S30.
Yeah. Let's
VN titanium.
we're gonna go inception mode for 1 second, folks. Pew. Okay, here we go. Look at that.
S35 VN with titanium for $85.
Wow.
There's a lot of
That
knives
is a
that a lot of
killer
people have.
price. Oops. Let's do this.
That is such an awesome knife. That is really an awesome knife. I must be honest with you. It's
Looks like a
I
good
don't
size
do
knife,
a lot
too.
of runs of them, but I'm definitely going to be doing more runs of those quite soon. S35 with titanium. It is
So this one doesn't have updated measurements. How long is it overall?
Can you just scroll down, then I'll do the conversion for you quickly.
208 millimeters. Is that about 8.5
Just
inches?
over 8.5, just under 8.5 inch. Yeah, 8.5
Okay.
inches. The blade is 3 3/4.
Nice.
Jim Cox, yes.
Very
a titanium
minimal top
S35
flippers.
VN
It looks
for
like it'll
85
catch
bucks.
you perfectly.
Yep.
Is that top flipper jimped?
No, but it's grooved in, so you can't miss it.
Yeah, it looks like it catches you.
Yeah. You cannot miss that. Guaranteed.
And it's so nice and minimal.
Yeah, and it's
It lets that entire blade slot away.
Yep. And if you look at the colors that's available as well, that
Yes, I'll go back.
So Jim Cox asked, there's 4 titanium knives that you can get for $85. S35 VN with TI. This is one of those little hidden gems that I've got as well that I don't do often, but when we do, they are extremely popular.
Whew.
Nice,
I
eh?
like that a lot. I want one.
I'll definitely make sure that we get some over to the US. That for me is just one of those little, I don't know, hidden little gems that you just don't see every day.
Yeah,
Real
yeah,
gentleman carry as well.
and that's going to be a great price.
Yeah, so we've done them
Stuff
for
we
quite
do
some
says
time.
he doesn't have one, but feel free to send him one.
I do
Barbie
believe you
just
did
fell
it.
off the couch. I think she liked that purple.
Jim Cox, yes, we actually have quite a few TI knives under $100.
Can I search the website by
Yep.
titanium?
Yes, you can, definitely.
Let me
all
do
the
folding
Wendell
knives. I'm gonna do a filter real quick on this search once it pulls up.
So you're going to see a couple that I think is going to shock people. There's a lot of titaniums in D2, and there's a lot of S35, etc. So,
Oh, there's titanium.
and if you see the titanium knives we've got, there's actually quite a lot. I've actually got quite a few.
So I'm gonna share this screen real quick again because y'all need to see this. So we'll go inception mode for one moment again. And now you can get the Django, you know, an upgraded version of the Wild Beast or whatever they called it, the Wild Species.
Yeah, here it is. So this is my personal knife, the Django here.
And then we've got the Coffin, which looks great. That's another ODM.
Yep. That's
This
the Adgear.
Adgear
XL, that's M390 titanium.
for $143.
Yeah. M390 titanium.
Who's the designer on that one?
It's a joint collab.
Nice. The Wendell under $60.
Yeah, so that's a D2 blade with titanium. The
And you can get a drop point or a Tonto.
That's the Scarp, the one I showed you just now, but that is the original one. The one I've got now has got the reverse Tonto on it. And
I kind of like that cleaver blade.
So if you look at that, remember that's a Damascus titanium for $76.
That's crazy. And then we got the Van Ears. Oh
There's
yes,
the
you know I
48.
love me the spoilator. I gotta get a black spoilator in hand. I gotta order one.
And
I
then the
need a
Loki,
spoilator pro.
and then the Loki is our take on the CEO, the CRKT CEO. That's VG10 titanium for $42.
VG10 and titanium for $42.
Yes, sir.
Holy crap!
You should search my website more. Sorry.
And then the Pixie, which is very cool.
Yeah, the Pixie is Remet brought out an exact model. I got usage right on it. We call it the Pixie. That's a VG10 Damas steel, 127 layers with titanium button lock.
For $71. Man, these are some insane prices. That's spoilator. I love the look of this knife.
It's a beautiful knife, that.
That's a perfect one right there. Is this one? This is.
That's
Do you have?
M390 titanium.
And this is your design?
No, it's a collab design with Remet. It's not my own, but there's no other knives in that shape. It's a collab between.
But it's one that we could possibly do a DVD edition to.
100% yes.
I think we might need to do a DVD edition on a spoilator.
I want to see if I've got one here. I might actually have one.
I'm going to stop sharing now and go back to the stream. Yeah, I think we need to do a DVD spoilator.
I've got a spoilator here, but it's the D2 G10 version.
I'm
This
going
is
to
the
bring
Pro version. So this is the spoilator Pro.
Yeah. And the
This is the
spoilator
D2.
Pro is a good looking, and that one's very well priced.
Yeah, this is really nice. Yeah, look,
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a couple of really, really cool knives. I see someone mentioned that the spoilator looks a lot like the Isham design. Isham is by far my favorite designer. I actually collect Isham knives. I think I've got more Isham knives than most people in the world has ever heard about. I just absolutely love that. And I think, Brian also says the Vanna has got a Shirogorov feel and look to it. Yeah, I think that's what Johan also said, that there's so many damn knives out there. One is going to look a lot like the other.
Yes. You can't not, it's almost impossible. At this point it is to come up with a profile that they can't say that there's some type of look or inspiration similar to, so there's so many knives, and we've been making them it's our oldest tool. We sharpen rocks and sticks to poke things, and it's been our oldest tool. So every blade shape has been made at some point.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. And if you look at our Loki version, which is you get them in G10 and carbon fiber with D2, and you get them in VG10 blades always. That one was a ODM design after the CRKT CEO came out. Ours is a little bit shorter and a little bit more pointy. And then I see there's now quite a few other manufacturers or companies that have got the same one out as well. But again,
everybody's trying to do a CEO style.
Yeah, but I mean, you can choose their knife, or you can get mine for $42 with a VG10 and a titanium handle. So that's up to you. You can choose where you want it. I'm not going to lift my prices. So
yeah, like G-Ball says, there's only so many ways to do a blade and a handle.
No, that's a fact. But again, if you guys really want to go and have a look at the titanium knives, the titanium handles that we've got, I mean, you saw some of them now, but there's that Vanna's. I just love that one. I just think it's one of those that, and people, there's quite a lot of them that is, they just swear by that knife. And again, it hasn't been accepted that well. I don't know why. That's why I don't do so many of them. But that is, I don't know. There's some amazing things that's actually going to come, and hopefully I can get a lot of these models. And obviously, the more we chat and the more we hear feedback, I know that I think the Vanna in the US will do exceptionally well, especially at that price. I think the
Agreed.
Spoliator with a little bit of DVD touch on it could be phenomenal as well. So yeah, Kuan as well. I mean, the Kuan is amazing. Every knife, there's so many models. Everyone has got such a story behind them. Every one of my knives has got a story behind them. So I mean, I can sit and chat about that forever. And
Mine as well. Mine as well. Wyoming. That was my first ever experience. Was on a G-ball review.
yeah, I know Gareth contacted me, and I gave him quite a lot of info, and it was an amazing review. Thank you for that. From me as well. I think there's, I mean, the support that we have has just been amazing. But yeah, I mean, I've got I've got a lot of knives. Again, I think if you go through the catalog, there's quite a few that you will find. I think you'll love a lot of the titanium ones. The Wendell as well. The Wendell is named after my wife. And the Wendell is because it actually means companion. It's one of those knives that I had a guy that used a Loki and a Wendell. He's a farmer in South Africa, and he moved over to the States. His family is there, and he does a lot of work outside. And he used that knife for a year, every single day, hard work, and he just couldn't get to break it. He just did everything with it. And I think that's what I really pride myself in as well, is that it's not just show off knives, it's people actually use this stuff. And that's for me the
Yes.
most important, is that's what its primary goal is. If you want a fancy knife, save up and go buy a Chris Reeve or go buy a custom or whatever. But if you want to use something, that's what we want to do out there. And
And you
getting
price it so that people aren't afraid to do such.
and I mean, it's also, you met, I mean, everyone met Johan now tonight. What an awesome guy to work with. And his knowledge of the inner workings of a knife and stuff like that. He told me all about that new lock that he's working on now. And I tell you, if that works, it is going to be a game changer. It will be a game changer for knives.
That's exciting. I agree, Delaney. Every time I scroll through the Pickled Steel website, I find something new that I want. I'm glad that it's Outlaw. Glad to have you here, homie.
All right, DVD, if you're not going to mind, I think I've extended my welcome. I think it's time for me to head out. If it's okay with you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time, Aldo. And I also greatly thank you for setting up Johan for today also.
You're very welcome. And thank you to everyone that was on the stream. And thank you for all the compliments and the kind words and just the general support. And I wish you well. I hope you've got an awesome day ahead of you, and almost close to my bedtime. So I'm gonna love and leave you. Thank you very much again for the opportunity. Really, really, absolutely love it.
Have a great night, my friend. Thank you again, Aldo.
Yes, everyone.
Snake Plissken, what's up? How are you? Have a great night, Stuff We Do. Man, that was an awesome chat. I was so appreciative when I reached out to Aldo yesterday and said, hey, I've got this here right now. Any chance we could get him on the stream while I've got both knives here? And 10 minutes later, they were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And yes, after reviewing this knife, I did have to reach out to Lefty and let him know that this one can't make it back home to him. It's got to go to Sever 7 for review next, and then Bluminati is last on the list. But after those two, this will be coming back home to me. Really, really digging it. I appreciate that. I'm really happy with how that stream turned out, Delaney. It's always fun hanging out with Aldo and finding out, what's coming up for Pickled Steel. But getting to chat with Johan was really cool. And you know, I have really come to enjoy South African Saturdays when we get the homies on here. You know, Garrett's a great one to have on here. We've had a couple. We had oh damn, and this is gonna drive me crazy because I just forgot the name of the guy that joined us. When Gareth got him out of bed. Who was the one that you got out of bed to join the stream, Gareth? God, he makes the witch's shoe kitchen knives. Oh man, it's gonna drive me nuts. But South African Saturdays are always a blast. It's always fun to chat with these folks. Thank you, Wyoming. I'm glad to hear that. You know, I just like hanging out with the Kripple Krew and spending time. And I really appreciate the fact that these knife folks are willing to come on and chat. No, not Johan. Yeah, thank you. Gillis Pretorius. That's right. Gillis Pretorius. That was one of the other ones that has joined us. He makes the witch's shoe kitchen knives. And he was awesome to chat with also. You know, I'm hoping to bring on a lot more of these South African knife gentlemen to chat with us in the future. And it's really cool to get the designer on with Aldo, because then we can talk about what they're doing together. Absolutely, Gareth. We will definitely bring another one on. I love talking to these guys. And it's always interesting to me to hear where they're coming from, what they're designing for, what their mentality is. But Johan, it's really exciting to know that he has so many models on the way to us in the future. Because so far, I'm a big fan of his design language. We love the war dog that now won't be, but I'm still going to want that knife with whatever company drops it. That looks to me, the war dog, I could see that coming out as a concept knife. Hell yeah, Caleb. Good to hear. The rest of your prize pack heads out Monday. DBLs and Bliscum knives. Ooh, let's take a look at these pictures. I'm going to share this screen real quick. Barbie, have a great day, homegirl. We will chat soon. But Gareth has videos for these badass South African customs. He started with that dope design. And yeah, I can't wait for that slip joint. Make sure you're following Gareth. I would love to get Bliscum blades on here. That would be so cool. DBLs is this top one. That would be awesome to get those gentlemen on at some point. Take it easy, Fook. Always good to see you, homie. Yes, Garrett's just getting his start. Make sure you're supporting him. He's obviously got a line on some dope knives to show. Not only that, but he has been so instrumental in getting Pickled Steel and more of these South African designers in front of us over here. Yeah, he's making great videos, and he's making it possible for us to bring you a lot of this content. Thank you for dropping his link, LCAP and Wyoming and Caleb. Very awesome. Man, this really is. If you guys enjoy the War Hog, you will really like the Cleo as a 5th pocket knife. Definitely gives you that little big knife feel. And you can feel the design language between these two knives. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to feeling their top liner locks, because I do prefer a top liner lock to a plunge style lock, even though, as you can tell, I still like plunge locks. I prefer finger safe because you guys know I have a habit of closing knives on my fingers. And this Cleo, Sheila, last year, the Vosteed Martin was my #1 ladies' knife of the year. And yeah, you can see the Isham fan in his designs. Absolutely. I have a feeling this might be my ladies' knife of the year for 2025. Yes, I know we are very early in the year, but this is going to rate very high on my 5th pocket list. And I could honestly see this being my #1 ladies' knife of the year for 2025. But even though I consider this a fantastic ladies' knife, I think it makes a great 5th pocket knife for me, even with extra large. I wear an extra large glove, but I can get this whole knife. Everybody next is going to Luke 10 Tech stream. The Cleo is such an amazing small knife, G-Ball. You are correct. Yeah, the next stream is Luke 10 Techs. He's going right now. Don't forget, it's 6:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m. 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. You will have G-Ball Vision going live. Because there is only 2 genders again in 2025, Jim Cox. That's a great thing. Oh, he's going early tonight. G-Ball going early, huh? Make sure you catch G-Ball tonight. I am going to go ahead and shut down my stream for now. Yeah, the pumpers are going nuts because Mrs. Deadly just got back. I'm going to shut down my stream for now, give my throat a break, and rest up for some G-Ball stream later tonight. And I truly appreciate everybody hanging out. Dadist Outlaw, I'm glad to have you here. I don't believe I've seen you on my streams before, so welcome. Obviously, you also ride. I've been an outlaw for over 15 years, so welcome. If would one of my mods please drop the link? There's G-Ball's stream right there. And if somebody would Loot's at 4:45. Roger. G-Ball's still going at his usual time. So I will see y'all on the streams later. I appreciate that, Delaney. I will try to bring more chats like this to you guys in the future, because I know I really enjoy it. But get your honeydew lists done. Do whatever you got to do before G-Ball and Loot tonight. Thank you, mods, for dropping their streams. Appreciate y'all. Until later, stay safe, stay frosty, but most importantly, stay deadly.